Good morning. I call the Senate Committee on Veterans, Military Affairs, and Pensions to order. Matt, please call the roll. We don't have roll, Matt said, so we're not going to call the quorum. Thank you. It's good to have my boss sitting to my left at all given times. Okay, with that then, we're going to work as, is it considered a subcommittee or something like that? Representative Griffith, we would like to hear your bill dealing with veterans. If you are ready to present that, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the committee. For the record, I'm Representative Dave Griffith. I represent the 60th District, which is right here in Jefferson City, and I'm here to present to you House Bill 1495. This is the third year in a row that I've carried this particular bill. This year it passed out of the House 157 to 0. It is a bill that is designed to try to turn the tide on veteran suicide in the state of Missouri. What this bill does is it really puts the onus on the Missouri Veterans Commission to be able to make this a priority for them. Currently, the Missouri Veterans Commission has three priorities. The first priority is the veterans' home, the second are the veteran cemeteries, and the third are the veteran service officers. While even though this bill is not passed, the Missouri Veterans Commission has done some of the work that's already in this bill. But they can't devote the full time that they need until the bill is passed, until it moves into statute, where it becomes one of their priorities. I can tell you that right now in the state of Missouri, the general population of suicides is 23.8 per 100,000. Veteran suicide is 45.2 per 100,000. Missouri ranks 8th in the U.S. as far as veteran suicide. This particular, there are reasons for this, and what I really want the Missouri Veterans Commission to look at, and while I can't control that, I think what they need to look at what are some of the causes? What is the MOS, the Military Occupation Service? What is that? What did that service man or woman do? How many times were they deployed? Where were they deployed to? Where do they live in the state of Missouri? How old are they? I think there's some factors that go into this that we need to look at to where we can start to get to the bottom of why so many are committing suicide. There are a lot of resources that are out there. Canines on the Front Line is a real good example of what they've been able to do with service dogs for servicemen and women that are suffering from PTSD and TBI. Warrior's Journey is out of Springfield, has a very effective counseling service. They boast that they have those that go through the Warrior's Journey program, 100% of them, they've turned around to where they have not had one suicide. Ozark Crisis Service down in Joplin, Missouri, working on local ways, and actually they created a card. For 5 years, I have been asking for a card that can give us an idea of signs of suicide. I worked for the American Red Cross for 6 years before I came to this house. And we had a card that showed if somebody's having a heart attack or somebody was going to have a stroke. I've been asking for a card, and this lady from Joplin that came and testified brought a card with her, and some of the signs that are there. Some of the catchphrases that we hear, that really should be triggers for us. If somebody says to you, "I'm probably not going to be here next week," or "You probably won't see me next month," or if offhandedly they say, "I could just kill myself." That kind of language and that kind of speak is telling. We need to stop. When we hear somebody say that to us, when we hear one of our friends or one of our colleagues, if they say something like to us, we need to stop right there and say, "I'm here. I hear what you're saying, and I'm concerned about you. Let's talk." There's a new phrase that's coming out. It's called QPR. It's question, persuade, and refer. That's a term we're going to hear moving forward when we start talking to somebody about dialing 988 and pressing 1 if you're a veteran. And I think that what some of these, I can tell you from personal experience that I have in October, a really close friend of mine. We were sitting in the American Legion a week and a half before he committed suicide. I couldn't tell you. I had no idea that there was anything going on in his life. I do know the number of times he was deployed in Afghanistan. We did talk about that and the effects that had on him. Certainly this bill is not the solution to the end of this crisis, but it certainly is a step in the right direction. I really appreciate you hearing House Bill 1495, and we appreciate your support. Is there any questions?
Thank you, Representative. Back at the beginning, and you've been in the office, we've talked about this both when I was on this side of the building and on the other side of the building, so you know it's something I care about. But when you spoke at the beginning, I'm going to use the word force, and that's probably not a very good word, to make this a true priority. Why? And you've said that the Veterans Commission is working on this diligently, but explain to me and maybe the rest of the committee why this needs to be passed to really put in statute to force this to be a priority. Because is there some other code, some other rule that says only the things in statute are your true priorities? Would you explain that a little better to me?
Well, in statute it has what their mission is, what their job is. This bill will create another FTE for them, someone that is dedicated to doing that, to get it dedicated to gathering the data, and it's also going to hold them responsible to reporting to the General Assembly. They have to report to the General Assembly by July 1st. Each year with a report that shows that data, that shows what they're doing. I think when there's accountability that's involved with anything we do, I think we take it more seriously. They take it seriously, believe me. But I think it forces them into doing something that I feel needs to be done.
Okay. With you working with the Veterans Commission, I know you do a tremendous amount of that. What kind of open mind do you think they have for different treatment opportunities for veterans compared to maybe even just a few years ago? I mean, there's so many things out there we hear, and you presented some of those. Do you think we're a little bit more open in the veterans community to trying new things, or do you think we're still pretty stringent? Because I think of veterans, and I think of that organization as ABC. There is no veering off of that. Do you think maybe we're opening up our mind a little bit, the fact that there are other solutions maybe to help veterans or not?
I think certainly the veteran community is open to that, opening their minds to it. If you talk to the Missouri Veterans Commission, I really can't speak for them, but they go by what they're told to do. They follow ABC to the letter. But there's alternative methods of treating PTSD and TBI out there that I think we need to look at very seriously. I had an interim committee 2 years ago that dealt with veteran suicide and mental health. And we had one where we talked alternative methods of we talked about using psilocybin. We talked about ketamine. We talked about things that I never ever thought that I would be. If you would have, Mr. Chairman, if you would have told me 10 years ago I was going to be chairing a committee that was going to be hearing testimony on psychedelics, I'd have told you you're crazy. But I think that what we have facing us right now is so serious that we cannot take anything off the table. We've got to be able to look at some things that maybe are outside of our comfort zone, ways that we can do that. The Missouri Veterans Commission, that's not in their wheelhouse. That they manage our veterans' homes, our cemeteries, and the veteran service officers. One thing that they have right now with our veteran service officers is that we don't have enough of them. We've got one veteran service officer for every 4,000 veterans. Now, thank goodness that all 4,000 of those veterans are not needing the services of the Missouri Veterans Commission. But if they were, the workload that they have is just tremendous. Right now, if a veteran service officer takes off the day to go for training, it's 1 day away from being able to serve those that need to be served.
Thank you. Any other questions? Thank you very much, Representative.
Thank you.
Okay, at this time, we're going to establish the quorum. Matt, would you please take the roll?
Senators Black.
Here.
Gannon. Bratton. Eigel. McCreary.
Here.
Roberts.
Here.
Schroer.
Here.
You have a quorum?
Thank you, Matt. We do have a quorum. At this time, Senator Beck We are ready for you to present your bill, Senate Bill 877.
Oh, wait, you gotta ask her if it's testimony in favor and opposition.
Oh, sorry, Dave. I didn't think there'd be anybody in opposition, buddy. There better not be anybody in opposition. Oh, I say that on the mic. Is there anybody in favor of the House Bill 1495? Anybody in opposition? Not a good idea. Anybody for informational purposes only? Thank you. Now, Senator Beck, I'll do that right on yours as well.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Well, it's good morning. It's not afternoon. So, good morning, Mr. Chair, members of the committee. For the record, I'm Senator Doug Beck, District 1. I'm introducing Senate Bill 877, which seeks to improve the public school retirement system of Missouri. Currently, Missouri has a teacher shortage, and DESE's recruitment and retention report shows that we only retain 51.9% of teachers after their first 3 years of teaching, and only 38.2% of teachers teaching after 5 years. This change in provision would provide additional benefits to teachers who do stay in the Missouri public school system. While the benefit may not be incredibly significant, any small action we can take to improve the public education system is a step in the right direction, in my opinion. As it stands currently, the law provides that a member of the public school retirement system of Missouri with 32 years or more of service, regardless of age, be provided a retirement allowance with a multiplier of 2.5, which was done last year, and the member's final average salary for each year of membership service. This act modifies this provision by providing that the multiplier fact for the normal retirement allowance of certain members with credible service, regardless of age, be as follows. And this is the underlying bill, but we have a committee substitute. It would have went to 2.53 for 31 years, 2.56 for 32, and 2.6 for 33 years of service or more. However, you have the committee substitute, and it simply just does the 2.6 for 33 years or more. Mr. Chair, you know that we tried to do this last year. It took a little while to get the information, and by the time we did it, saying it was fiscally responsible, it didn't happen in the House. A ball was dropped. Imagine that. But anyway, I would like to let this happen this year. Hopefully, we can do that. We know we have a teacher shortage in the state. Until we can figure out that part. Maybe if we can keep some teachers here a little bit longer, that'll help alleviate some of that pain. And with that, I'll take any questions.
Yeah, certainly, Senator Beck. Thank you. And I know we have ended up with fiscal note and everything's really good. I would imagine we'll hear testimony around that. But the fact that we are at a point where little pieces matter at this point, and this is a little piece that will make a difference in some places. Are there any questions of the senator? No. Anybody to testify in favor? Please state your name, leave the form.
Good morning. Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, for the record, Mike Moorfield, Chief Counsel, PSRS Peers, here to testify in favor of the legislation. Appreciate the Senator's time on this, appreciate the Senator's conversations over the past now 2 years on this. Immediately following the passage of 2.55 that you all passed last year, we started receiving an influx of calls from members either wanting to determine the calculation if they stayed another year, or actually having members try to pull their retirement applications, which they're able to do to stay in the classroom another year. So we know from anecdotal experience that the multiplier you all put into law last year has resulted in experienced teachers staying in the classroom. And any time there's a piece of legislation that is completely revenue neutral or even a positive fiscal impact on the systems, and it keeps experienced teachers in the classroom longer, it's something we're happy to support. So we're in full support of this piece of legislation and be happy to take any questions you may have, and we thank the sponsor for his time.
Any questions? Thank you, sir. Anyone else in favor of the legislation?
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. Mike Harris on behalf of the Missouri State Teacher Association go on the record in support of Senate Bill 877. We all know that the number one most important factor in student achievement is that teacher in front of the classroom, and anytime we can do anything to keep those more experienced veteran teachers in the classroom, that's a good thing. We're happy to support this legislation. Happy to take any questions.
Any questions of the witness? Thank you, sir. Anyone else in favor?
Maria Walden with Missouri Retired Teachers Association, and we are in support of this bill, as we were of the 2.55 when it passed last year as well. This is a bill that keeps experienced teachers in the classroom, helps our students out, and also helps the systems out, which helps our retirees make sure that they can live comfortably in retirement. And so for those reasons, Missouri Retired Teachers Association supports this bill.
Any questions of the witness? Thank you very much. Anyone else in favor? Anyone opposed? Anyone informational purposes only? Any closing remarks, Senator?
Thank you.
Thank you. At this time, Senator Schroer is going to take over as chair.
Thank you, Chairman. We're going to go ahead and call Senate Bill 1401 by Chairman Black for public hearing. Senator, take the stand and begin when you are ready.
Short enough as it is. Thank you, Mr. Chair, member of the committee. My name is Rusty Black. I represent the 12th Senatorial District. Senate Bill 1401 is honestly a culmination of several years of things that have went on dealing with the retirement system, Mosier's retirement system, in combination of what those of you sitting up there consider the Kofi schools, okay, within our colleges and university. At this point in time, the Mosier's board has determined that we're probably going to need to raise the employer contribution rate up around 32%. That's the direction it's heading. Of course, that can change at any given time. That's looked at each and every year. And this piece of legislation, what it would do, if it's passed, it would ask the commissioner, the office administration, to figure a rate for the Kofi schools between a dollar amount between 28.75% of salary to 32%. This gap, the dollar amount in the middle, would be something that the commissioner administration would ask the legislature to put in the budgeting process to cover that amount, okay? And then whenever the contribution rate falls back to 28.75 or below, of course, that dollar amount would no longer be calculated and presented to the legislature to cover that margin that I'm talking about. There's one piece of language, and somebody I've asked to come up here to explain it better than I can. There's another piece of language that needs to be placed in this bill. We have the language, but we didn't get it done in time, and we'll make sure that we explain that well before we get ready to vote this out. I've been involved with the Mosier Board, the budgeting process at the Capitol now for 8 years. We did a similar thing like this in the budget 2 years ago or 3 years ago, and it would proportion out that money to those schools. So I would be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for the sponsor? Seeing none. First witness in support, please come up, fill out a witness form, proceed when ready.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the committee. My name is Paul Wagner. I'm the Executive Director of the Council on Public Higher Education. I appreciate Senator Black's work on this issue. You know, kind of the crux of the issue is that we have to pay for the Mosier's increases out of our own resources. Not like if you're at Department of Higher Education, DESE, other state departments of state government departments. Their Mosier's comes just through House Bill 5 through the Office of Administration. So having these steep increases on the horizon closures rate continues to increase, we're basically just shipping those core increases off to Mosers. They're not staying on campus. We're not able to use that to better support our programs and services for students. So this is one avenue that Senator Black has looked at to kind of help us out with that so that we can keep more resources on campus to help students and not have our retirement costs kind of continue to eat that away. So happy to answer any questions.
Any questions? Seeing none.
Thank you.
Thank you for your testimony. Leave your witness form there. And next witness in support of Senate Bill 1401. Seeing none. Maybe? Opposition? No. Okay, anyone in opposition? Seeing none, informational purposes, please come forward. Make sure you fill out a witness form and proceed when ready.
Good morning, Abby Spieler, Executive Director, Missouri State Employees Retirement System, here for informational purposes only. We believe Senate Bill 1401 is cost neutral to the system. We see it as simply reallocating costs amongst our employers who actually pays the bills. From that respect, we still expect to receive the employer contribution rate times total covered employer payroll, which is the most important thing to system funding and the system's health. The small change that the senator mentioned is adding that most important language of if appropriated, which if for some reason the legislature would not appropriate these dollars, we still hope that the college and universities would continue to pay the full contribution rate. I saw her. No. So again, the most important thing is that we still receive the contribution rate times total covered payroll. We think this bill with the added language would accomplish that.
Any questions? Any other alarms? Seeing none. Thank you very much. And next witness in for informational purposes. Seeing none. Any closing words?
No, other than I'm sitting on a hot mic, I can't shut this baby off.
And it just
Thank
keeps
you.
coming back on. I don't know what's wrong with that one. That concludes the public hearing on Senate Bill 1401. And I'll return this back to the rightful chairman.
Anybody willing to move we adjourn? I move. Second? Second. All in favor, aye?